Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cantina Social Hour Wednesday night. Tonight, this 22nd of October, 2025. Hello, everybody. It is great to be here. It is great to see you. I apologize that we're getting started a little bit late. We had some technical stuff going on that I hope is resolved. I made a quick behind the scenes change because the first stream kind of got messed up. So I had to create a new stream basically. So hopefully anybody that was hanging out in the other stream, I left a message in there letting you guys know to jump to this stream. Hopefully anyone that was in there was able to get that message. And I posted a new link as well on Instagram in my stories. So hopefully anyone that's looking for us has the new link. Anyway, thank you guys so much for your patience. It is great to be here. We are in the midst of spooky season, my favorite time of year, and I am just absorbing as much as I can. I am so busy with work and with school and just life in general. And I'm trying to appreciate all the little bits of spooky season that I can when I'm not busy. And next week, we are going to be doing Cantina Horror Hour. If you guys remember that from last year, we had a Cantina Horror Hour on. I think we had Jay from Geek Dad Life join us. We're going to do another show, multiple guests, and we're going to talk spooky toys, and we're going to talk Halloween and ghost stories and all that stuff. So I'm greatly looking forward to that. No guests tonight. It is just me. So there will not be anyone else joining me. As such, I will be going for about an hour or so. I talk all day long at work, all day long. So I probably shouldn't go for 2 hours. I'm going to strain my voice. Anyway, there's a little bit to talk about. I saw a comment in the last stream. I think it was from our friend, Adam, that the banner was a little bit blank. And yes, there really isn't a lot of news to talk about this week. And we didn't book a guest. So I left it just nice and clean, blank, fresh. So yes. Anyway, it is great to be here. We're in the middle of the work week, which I totally appreciate. And I do see, Adam, that you dropped the message in the Cantinian society, let's call it. So thank you for doing that. Yeah, let's see who's in the chat with us, and we'll talk TVC. That's going to be our main focus tonight, is the vintage collection. We will check on the Tron House Labs. Yeah, that's doing. And of course, we're going to end with new acquisitions, brand new things we've added to your collections, to my collection. There's not a lot. There's a few things here we're talking about. And I have a few droids in front of me that I want to talk about as well. So we'll talk about all those things. But let's see who's in the chat with us. Adam, our moderator, is with us. Pump number 2 is back online. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you getting that resolved. And yeah, the Rhodians tend to push. Thank you for calming them down. Britt is with us. Britt, it is great to see you. Thank you for being here. Dodgson is with us, tending the soda fountain. Good to see you, Dodgson, and glad that you were able to resolve pump number 2 once again. Leo Classic TMNT 1987. Hello there. Hello there, sir. Thank you for being with us today, and we'll just drop this for you here.
Hello there.
Let's see, we've got Allison with us. Hey, Allison. Yep, the VC music right there. Night Wolf, my little Halloween song for 2025. I'm jamming to Night Wolf. I know it's my own song, and it's kind of weird to jam out to your own song, but I play it a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I play it a lot. I just love it. It's one of my favorite songs that I've ever released, and it just for me, it hits all the right notes of what like I feel during this time of year. Hello, Alex. Good to see you, Alex. Friend Mary is with us. Hello, Mary. Pico B1. Hello, Pico B1. Good to see you. Holland at 1. How's it going? Today's not Thursday. No, it's not. I'm busy tomorrow, so we weren't able to do a normal Thursday show. Tops 375. Caught the live this time. I'm glad you're here. 17.28. Good to see you. Thank you for hanging out with us. Hope you're doing well. Dodgson stole a Jawa's robe so he can change into some dry clothes. Nice. I'm going to pop open a Dr. Pepper here. Dr. Evazon, Dr. Pepper. Pass that into a sip on. Can't beat ice cold Dr. Pepper, that's for sure. We got Paul with us. How's it going, Paul? Good to see you. We are off to a good start. All right, so we're going to talk the HasLab Tron. That's the first thing we're going to do. And then we're going to explore. You guys want to talk Mattel Jurassic? There are a few things we can talk about. I can pull up Collect Jurassic's website, and we can talk about a few things. And like I said, the main focus today is TVC. If you're following me on Instagram, then you saw my stories. I left a few things earlier today asking you, what is the next Tonica Sisters? The Tonica Sisters, as you know, those are figures people have been asking for years, decades, a really long time. And it took a lot of hard work for them to actually become reality. What is the next Tonica Sisters? So that's my question to you. I'm repeating a question that was actually given to me on the spot by Chris Rife at Hasbro. And I was like totally unprepared for it. I hadn't even thought about it. And then I also asked the price increases. Are you going to be buying the same? Are you buying a little bit less, a lot less? Or are you just quitting altogether? The results are actually pretty interesting. So I will screenshot those and show you guys what we have at this point. Got some Q&A to go from Instagram. So we'll talk Q&A. We'll go through the questions that I received. And then we'll go into new acquisitions, brand new things that you've added to your collections, what I've added to mine. And then we'll talk next week. So once again, if you're just joining in, thank you for watching Cantina Social Hour. Hopefully our stream holds. There aren't any issues. I'm optimistic. But like I told you guys last week when I was over at the other place across the street, same thing. So I don't think it's a me thing. I think it's like an us thing, like a neighborhood sort of thing. I can't wait till we get a fiber optic in our neighborhood. I cannot wait. Should be coming hopefully pretty soon, as I understand it. All right. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's go and check in on the HasLab and see what's up with that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump on over to Hasbro Pulse. And as I understand it, things have changed a little bit. So let's see. Heroes of the Grid, 3 3/4 inch collector's set. All right, so this is currently sitting at 1,024 backers out of a needed 10,000 backers. 33 days remaining, so we're a little bit under a third of the way, because I think it was 45 days. So yeah, something like that. 33 days. The question is, can this get to 10,000 in 33 days? Let's do a little bit of math. I have a master's degree in math and science, so let's put it to use. All right, so we have 10,000 backers. We're going to divide that by 33 days. Okay, so if the math is mathing, 303 backers are needed per day in order for it to cross the line. We know that HasLabs are not linear. We know that they go up and down. We know that oftentimes right out the gate, there's a pretty big push for people that want it right away, that the fans that are keyed into this. The campaign runs as things go along, things start to slide down a little bit. And you see occasional little spikes here and there. And then towards the end, things tend to start going up. And then at the very end, they start to go up more and more. And either the thing passes or it doesn't. So, it's not going to get 303 a day. If it did, then that's how it would get backed. It would probably be, if it was backing, it'd probably be a lot less than that. And then you would see spikes at the very end. But on average, it would need 303 a day to back. And given that we are only 10%, a little over 10% of the way above that at this point in time, with 33 days to go, I'm not optimistic about this HasLab working. So, it is a bummer. I'm curious what you guys think. My friend Steve Evans at Hasbro, Steve is awesome. We've had him here on the show before. He does a lot of great things behind the scenes for Star Wars fans. He's an advocate for this 3 3/4 inch project that they're doing every they want to, I guess, make it a regular thing, primarily through HasLabs. Tron is kind of an experiment. I know we've talked about it before because it's such a niche thing, and it probably wouldn't work if it wasn't a HasLab. And I don't think a lot of people comprehend that. But his thinking is if this works, then they might want to try other 3 3/4 inch things, but those would primarily be limited to small focus sets, like the Tron set, right? It's not going to be a big world building line like Star Wars, for example. It's an interesting concept. I mean, you can't collect everything. Even if you're a 3 3/4 inch fan, you kind of got to pick and choose. I think most 3 3/4 inch fans these days are probably Star Wars. You might be Jurassic as well, which is 3 3/4 as well. And then Spin Master does their own thing. They're a little bit bigger though, I think. But if you're collecting Star Wars and you're getting hit with everything processing in the month of September, October, I'm talking like $500, $600, $700 in some cases worth of stuff. If you're ordering everything, at least, you're probably not going to go out on a limb for something like Tron, right? You're probably going to want to focus on your focus. Focus on your focus. That sounds weird. So I think something like this is very experimental. And I don't know how many fans would go for something that they can't world build on, right? That's the whole point of 3 3/4 inch. It's not just the scale. I mean, the scale is obviously the important. It's also the ability to world build. Now, Steve did say that if the Tron thing passes, that may open the opportunities for other repaints, other iterations of these sculpts, which sounds good to me. That I would expect that, but if it doesn't, there's not going to be any Tron 3 3/4 inch. I can all but guarantee you of that. And then will they continue this 3 3/4 inch 3.75 initiative that they're considering into other lines? I mean, I hope so. But again, if you're spending hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of dollars in pre-orders like we just had recently, then it makes it very, very hard to want to get into any other lines. It's a two-sided problem, right? Because you have folks that are going to stick with Star Wars, they're going to stick with their bread and butter, not try out Tron or whatever else is in that scale. And then you also have people that are going to avoid Tron or whatever else it is they're going to try because they can't world build it out enough. There will be people that like that idea of a targeted 3 3/4 inch, like a small display where you can put several of them together. Like, let's say Tron. I'm just spitballing here. Batman, 3 3/4 inch, Marvel, 3 3/4 inch. A dream of mine would be like Hasbro TVC quality Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, a smattering of those all together. I mean, I personally would be interested in seeing some of those. But I don't know that would be a majority of collectors. I think most people are going to want to stick with what their main focus is. And those who really do love the 3 3/4 inch scale, I mean, you got to think, a lot of us have been collecting for decades. I've been collecting this since 1996, Star Wars, since Power of the Force 2. And our collections are big, right? Our collections grow, our houses usually don't. So do a lot of those folks that are maybe in their 40s, 50s, want to take on another line, even if it's small, even if it's focused, or multiple lines, even if they're small, even if they're focused, when they already have a big collection, when they're already getting hit with all these other pre-orders? There's a lot of questions here. There's a lot of things to look at, a lot of questions to be asked, a lot of research to be done. I mean, I feel like Hasbro probably did some of that research. I don't think they would just blindly try out Tron without having a little bit of doing a little bit of investigation, doing a little bit of the focus group thing. But at the end of the day, if people don't show up for this set, I don't know that they're going to jump into another 3 3/4 inch of some random niche property. We're not going to see Tron in 3 3/4 inch. We're probably not going to see whatever they're going to want to do next after that, at least for a while. So I think that's where we're at. I think that's where we're at this point in time. And that's just being realistic, I think, up to now. So what are you guys' thoughts? I'll back up a little in the chat and we'll see what you guys are talking about here. Joshton, you're headed off to the Lars homestead to steal some of their laundry in the rack, but I can't say. I can stay for some Jurassic talk. Okay. Can't believe people are paying Super 7 prices. Colin at one says. Yeah, very slow progress on this house lab. That is for sure. No fiber optic. I've had it for almost 20 years. No, we have cable in our neighborhood. That's we don't have that in our area yet. Adam says, I live on the outer rim. Yeah. I mean, I live on Tatooine, right? I live at the Cantina. I don't think you guys know this. I'm not kidding. I live underneath the Cantina, like in the basement. It's not called Victoria's Cantina for no reason, you know. You cannot start a line, Scott says, with a HasLab. That's just wrong. You know, I tend to. Okay, so on the surface, yes, I agree, but Tron is such a niche line, such a niche franchise, right? So it's a very big financial risk for them to, I think, for Hasbro to assume that if they make 50,000 Tron figures as a main line, that it's going to be successful, because it's kind of hard to predict whether or not that's going to be the case. Because again, Tron is a very niche thing. Even though there's a movie out, movie isn't doing like terribly hot right now. It's a very big gamble with what things cost these days. You guys know the costs are going up everywhere. It's a very big gamble for them. So, I mean, as a business, I can understand why they would want to start as a HasLab, just to kind of gauge, throw it out there and gauge, you know, how many people actually want Tron. Is it the ideal way? Is it the consumer friendly way? Absolutely not. But I think from a business point of view, I get why they're starting it out as a HasLab. It's probably the only feasible way they can do this at this point in time, unless you're talking something like 5POA, unless you're talking something like what we see from Spin Master with their DC figures, which I don't think collectors would really latch onto that kind of a style. So, I mean, I get why it is what it is. Hey, Howard, how's it going? Personally, I like Steve and his enthusiasm, so I feel bad this isn't looking like it's happening. Yeah, I mean, I know, you know, I know there's a lot of passion behind Tron, and it is very much something that would be really cool to happen, right? I mean, I like Tron. I'm not the biggest fan. I haven't watched the original movie in like a decade, but I mean, I enjoy it. I think it's cool, but it's not the kind of thing that, you know, I backed this HasLab. I told you guys already that I was planning to back it, and it's not. I like cool toys at the end of the day. Do I have room for it? No, but I mean, I don't have room for anything that I buy these days. A lot of it just goes off to the storage. So until that day, you know, the big blue beyond, you know, one day when we all have the big 3-story mansion to put everything. I've cracked this joke before. Probably never going to happen, but we can dream. A girl can dream. Yeah, that is true, Max. Tron does have a very small fan base. There are fans, and they are very passionate. I'll give them that. They are very passionate, but it is pretty small. Through the Accordance James Bond line. That sounds interesting, Nate. Adam says, I back this, and love Tron, but it's so also hard to see where that line goes from this HasLab. Even if it's successful, other toys from that first film would be so expensive. Yeah, they would. Yeah, this is a good point that Britt raises. It's hard to drop so much money on something that's not a sure thing going forward. Even if it funds, it feels risky. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So I mean, I think the line is I think this is it. I think if this HasLab passes, you might get repaints of the figures. And that's it, right? I think Steve was alluding to like the clear versions, kind of like the vintage stuff. Fiber, synthetic fiber, fiber alternatives, fiber. Yeah, lots of fiber. Just be sure you're getting fiber in your diet, you guys. Yeah, pirate ships are cool. I would love a Pirates of the Caribbean HasLab. I mean, I would like a line. I mean, I wouldn't want it to be a HasLab, but let's be real. Are they gonna really, if they did the Black Pearl, it would be a HasLab, right? That's the only way you would be able to make that. I know that who had the line? I know Jack Specific had on Stranger Tides. They had that license back then. Somebody else got it for the last movie, I believe. But there was actually a really, really big toy line for Pirates, the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and at World's End. But they were really big lines, but the toys are not that great at all. The proportions on them, they're really weird. Like, we should do a show about Pirates of the Caribbean about this toy line. Anyway, the world building of it was pretty nice. There were like cannons and there were accessories, and there was a Black Pearl, was a big play set. Pretty cool. I never got it, but it was pretty cool. I had some of the figures though. But I would love to see a TVC quality style Pirates of the Caribbean line. But I wouldn't want it to be a HasLab. But again, it's probably not as niche as Tron, but it is still, at the end of the day, it's not Star Wars, right? It's not the kind of thing that's always out there, right? Pirates films are far and few between. I hope they make more Pirates films, by the way. I really hope they do. But yeah, something like that would have to be like, it would probably be a HasLab, unfortunately. Maybe be the Black Pearl and have like some of the mains, right? But that'd probably be it. Ooh, a 3¾ horror line based on the Universal monsters. That may be a bit niche, though. I still actually have these right here from New Acquisitions last week. Definitely very niche, but here. I know I showed them during New Acquisitions last week. So Dracula, these are Super 7 reaction. These are highly posable. They're not 5 POA, but they're very nice. There's Dracula. There is the creature from the Black Lagoon. And then there's also the Wolfman. Right? But that's it. We need Bride of Frankenstein. We need Frankenstein's monster, rather. We need the Invisible Man. There's others that we need. So I don't know if this line's going to grow. It's kind of small. There's only 3 figures, but they are highly articulated. So this is a good option in the interim. And they are 3¾ inch. So they are they look really nice. And I'm still not sure if I'm going to open those or not because the packaging looks really cool. A little expensive. I think it was like I think they were like $20 each. But again, niche. The prices these days, I get it. What does Lando say in Solo? Like, I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but I accept it. Like that kind of thing. I think that's kind of where we're at this point. I should include that one here in our little video reel thing that we can pull up the videos for. I should definitely do that. Permission to be super honest. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think we pride ourselves on being honest, but also respectful. So I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, sure, yeah. You know, be honest, but you know, I know everyone at the Cantina is always respectful. The house is overloaded. I don't want to rent a storage lockers. I mean, it's okay. So then don't be me, basically, because that's where you're going to end up. Tops 375. Be down for Tron 3¼ inch if it was Tron Legacy or this at a lower, more basic price point. The Craftsman model is really tough right now, especially because it's an expensive entry to a niche line. Yes, I mean, I get that completely, and I think Hasbro probably gets that too, and I think probably Hasbro understands that it's kind of an experiment, right? It's a big experiment. Will this fund? Will it not fund? what will be what will happen as a result of it funding or not funding. Like there's a lot of questions that'll be answered over the coming months with regards to things like this. Alex says, I agree with you. Tron is probably one and done if it doesn't succeed. In this scale, yes. 6-inch, it's going to keep happening. Let's see. Hey, Andrew, this is a good point. I love Tron. I like Tron well enough, but to support this HasLab, I need to love Tron, or it would have to be like 125, 150. I mean, yeah, I get that. It's definitely not for everybody, right? This is something that's going to speak to a smaller segment than like a Razor Crest or a Cantina or that kind of a thing. Definitely. Howard says, adjusted for inflation, the first Tron made 134 million in theaters. It bombed. Ares is at 105 million and it's running out of steam. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Tron is just not. It's not a reliable and predictable franchise, right? I think that's why we never got the sequel after Legacy. That was supposed to happen, like within the few years, like following Legacy. Because it just wasn't like. I think it made money at the end of the day, but it wasn't like a really big hit. And that's what Disney wants, right? Is like really big like performers. And that's where we get into trouble. Hey Riley, Bob, how's it going? That's the case. Why 6-inch getting Legacy straight up? 6-inch gets whatever, however, but 3/4 inch needs to go through the ringer. Yeah, it definitely feels that way. I agree. I mean, I get some of it, like just in terms of like what things cost. It's just one of those things, right? Like the cost of 6-inch compared to a smaller figure is close because of all the not so much the size, right? You're using less plastic, but because of like the assembly is still the same, the engineering, all that is still the same, the R&D, all that still goes into it. So there's still a lot of associated costs with it. So if you can make more of a profit on a larger figure at a similar production cost, then I mean that makes good business sense. I don't have to. Again, I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but I accept it. Right? It's that kind of a thing. This is a good point, Britt. You always bring up fantastic points. I don't know if it would hurt or harm them to announce what other franchises they're thinking about doing for the scale, and might spur people to back Tron, might not. Yeah, that is a great point. And I know Steve posted on his Instagram a week or two ago, like, what other franchises would you guys be interested in? And that's not them telling us, right? They're gathering information. And I did reply Pirates of the Caribbean on his post, but yeah, I mean, if we knew a little bit more, and it was the same thing, with the gunship, right? I know I was after the gunship campaign ended, I know I was telling you guys, like, we're kind of looking back. I think the gunship could have done a lot better had they been a little more forthcoming with what their plans were for Battle of Geonosis. Had they announced the Padme and the Shakti like at Comic-Con and maybe some other things at Comic-Con. I think that things like that, like just a little bit more clear, upfront messaging, I think would go a long way to supporting things like this. So that is one area I would like Hasbro to be a little bit better about is figuring out how to. I know they don't want to ruin like reveals; they want to save those, but for something like a HasLab, like that's an expensive thing to ask of a toy collector. I think you need to have a little bit more of that transparency in order to make those more successful and to make collectors just generally a little bit happier. What am I going to get if I back this thing? I don't know, because nothing's announced. I mean, I don't think that's the best. To me, that doesn't make the most like business sense in terms of instilling confidence in collectors. So I would like to see a little bit more communication from them. Figure Report, what's going on? How are you doing? Good to see you. It was really fun having you on last week. I had a great time. Are Disney characters a possibility for 3D quarter inch? Ooh, I would love that. I would love that, honestly. I mean, come on. Like, okay, so you guys know how they do the princess dolls? Like Mattel did them, then they went to Hasbro, and then they went back to Mattel. I personally would adore the Disney princess line in 3 3/4 inch, like TVC quality. Give it to me. Like, no questions asked. I would be there on day one, and I would be the biggest champion of such a line. 100%. I would be behind that line, pushing it, talking about it, promoting it. Like, yes, give that to me. Not just there, but I mean, you guys know I'm passionate about Disney parks. I would 100%, I would love to see attraction-based figures too. Like Pirates of the Caribbean again, like if you're focusing on the ride, the Haunted Mansion, anything Disneyland, anything like that they would want to do, like for a 3 3/4 inch line, like sold. Like that's just money that's like that I would just hear. Like take it, take it, take it, take it. Levin says, I feel like this should have been made to order instead of HasLab. Yeah, again, this HasLab has to hit 10,000, right? That's the only way that Hasbro believes it's going to be profitable, is for it to hit 10,000. If this is a made to order and only 3,000 people order it, then you're losing money, right? So there's something there has to be, Hasbro always needs to have a level of confidence in something before it's made to order. What was the last thing that was made to order? There were a few things, right? The E-Wing, right? Initially it was made to order and then they changed it. Then it went to stores and stuff. The Jabba's / Book of Boba Fett throne room, like that was supposedly a made to order thing. And then they had it in stock on their website. So a made to order thing, they have to have some pretty strong confidence in data supporting something like that they would be able to profit off of it. Like, so I mean, a Tron would be a big risk if they think 10,000 is, if that's the magic number that they have to hit to make a profit. Then I get why it is a HasLab. Yeah, that's a good point too, Howard. Reaction did do Super 7 release of Tron 3 3/4. These were 5 POA. These were very vintagey. But yeah, you're right. Some people have those, right? And they probably, and there were the light cycles, right? So I don't think everybody, if you have those, you may not feel as it might not feel as necessary to get these two. Yeah, this is a pretty, yeah, this is true. This is a pretty poor performing HasLab. And Cookie Monster too. We can't forget Cookie Monster. Oh, HoloNet 1 beat me to that. Cookie Monster. I always forget that Cookie Monster was actually a HasLab. That's funny. That's funny. Hey, Jason. Yeah, I liked Legacy too. I thought it was a fun movie. I like it more than the original one. The original one, like, it's okay, but like I get kind of bored watching it. James from Facebook, 6 inches is the most popular scale right now. It's a safer bet to try new things in that scale. Unfortunately, I mean it's the mainstream scale. It's been the mainstream scale for well over a decade at this point, and that's mostly because that's just the industry standard, and has been for a very long time. And also because, again, financially, it just makes more sense to make something you're going to have a higher profit margin on. Nice SW guys, Firefly. Dodgen says G.I. Joes. They would bring back 3 3/4 inch modern G.I. Joes. Yeah, that would be cool. I never really got into those, but I liked seeing them like in stores. They were just fun because of, the nostalgia. Atari 2602, how's it going? The first 2 movies were disappointments, but Ares is a bomb, likely a franchise ender. Unfortunately, that's probably true. There probably won't be another Tron movie. I haven't seen Ares yet, but that's what it's sounding like. They'd call Rapunzel Deluxe because of her hair. That's actually pretty funny, and that's actually pretty true, Allison. Yeah, Britt, this is true. I do have some of the Super 7 Disney, the big ones, like the 7-inch or 6-inch or whatever they are. I've never opened them, but I do have, not all of them, but I have a good number of them. But they are in storage just because I don't have anywhere to put them. But yeah, they look fantastic. And I wish that line would have gone longer than it did. Pump number 2 is not acting up. Oh, that's good. So I will let you guys know one change that I made. I'm not streaming in high definition 1080p. I changed it to 720. I haven't actually done 720 in months, so I'm just trying to see if that's any better. I know the quality is not going to be as good, but in terms of the picture, but if it means that we're not going to be like having issues, then I'll take it. Let's see. Have I seen the new 3/4-inch Battlestar Galactica that's been prototype? Looks really cool. I have tops. I have seen that. It looks great. It's not for me, but it looks great. Has anyone ever done Star Wars in 3/4 inch? That would be cool. That is, yeah.
Good job.
Let's see, what else do we got here? I think we're kind of. Oh, Shelf Scenes is here. What's up, Shelf Scenes? Channel member. Super 7-Tron figures are my fave. Only sold at Disney World, as far as I know. Yeah, I should have gotten those. They're probably expensive on eBay. And if this HasLab fails, they're going to get even more expensive. All right, so we'll go ahead and leave Tron there. And we will move on. Let me look. See, my pal Tim at Collect Jurassic has images. We'll just look at them really quick because I really want to talk about TVC. Okay. Okay, there is something here. Let me jump over to his Instagram. Okay. So, Collect Jurassic, my friend Tim, who we've had on the show multiple times. Finally, you guys, we're getting a Mutadon from Mattel. The Mutadon was one of the main new characters or species in the latest Jurassic World movie, Rebirth. And the Mutadon is finally coming to. I was going to say to TVC. It's finally coming to the Mattel Jurassic line. It's been a really long time. But finally, so if you watch the movie with the commentary, I haven't done this myself, but I heard that if you watch Rebirth with the director's commentary, that he mentions that the design was finalized so late that they weren't able to get toys out in time for the film's release, and that's why this is coming out a little bit late. Now, I will say that this looks a little weird. I don't think, even though they had that extra time, to me, it doesn't look 100% like it did in the movie. I don't know. I think it's a 2-pack, but I don't know. It just doesn't look right to me. Like, you get 2 of them, right? But it's close enough, I guess. But it's just so limited in articulation. It's called the Ultimate Damage Mutadon Destruction Pack. Because that's what dinosaurs do, I guess, right? They damage and destruct everything. But hey, they're finally doing Mutandons, so I guess it flaps its wings. I wasn't really a big fan of the Mutandons. I think it was okay, to have seen them briefly, but I think better things have come out of Jurassic in the past. Look at that guy. He's just check me out with these wings. Not really my cup of tea, you guys, but nonetheless. There's also a new Jurassic toy line. You guys know how they do the reset every year. 2026, the line's going to be, it's called Survival, Jurassic World Survival. That's the new theme. And they do this every year. Remember, Star Wars used to do that back in the 2000s. They would switch up the line every year. So that's basically what Mattel does every year. And these actually look okay. I think, is that a dimorphodon? That really colorful. I like that colorful dimorphodon. It looks like a parrot. I would buy it just because of the colors. The other ones, whatever. But dimorphodon looks, if it is a dimorphodon, looks cool. Looks cool. What else has Tim got over here? There's this right here, Jurassic World Survival Charge and Chomp Carnotaurus. We've had Carnotaurus many times, but this one is a little more, I mean, it's a bit stylized. It doesn't look bad, but I've heard that it's locked into like this kind of like pose because the legs run or something. Or it does this kind of thing where the legs bend and it chomps. So it has an action feature. So it's kind of locked into this weird pose right here. The toy looks cool. The horns look interesting. But it is locked into this ugly pose. So that is kind of limiting. But it does look pretty cool. It does look pretty cool, I will say. I will say. Man, there's a lot of pictures here. What else we got here? I think that's about it. I think it's about it. Like I said, we're not going to spend a lot of time on Jurassic. Did we look at these already? I don't even remember. No, we didn't. Okay. This is kind of old, but I think we already talked about it. But this is the Mosaurus. This is a Hammond collection. They did Mosaurus in the main line like ages ago. I think there were like 2 or 3 different like repaints of it. I don't know why they're doing it in Hammond collection because it's not a species that I think anybody really cares about. To me, Hammond collection should be like from the movies, and then everything else. I mean, it looks all right. It's got interchangeable like hands, I guess. Let's call them. That's weird. It's different. So credit where credit is due for trying something new. But that's about it. We're going to go ahead and close Jurassic because that's all there is at the moment. At the moment. Let's see. Holonet, have I heard about a dinosaur attraction in New Jersey? No. No, I've not. Pico B1 says, I love that Jurassic line abandoned their 6-inch line. That was so revealing about this shade that gets thrown at 3 3/4. It didn't do well. I did a video about it called Everything Wrong with the Amber collection, and it failed. I go over the whole thing in that video. It was from years ago. I think probably like 2021 or something. But I think that line failed because they weren't releasing waves. They were just releasing like one-off figures like 6 months apart. And I don't think you can really sustain like a toy line by doing that. Occasionally you get like the human, and then months later you get a dinosaur, and then months later be another human. And it took like years to get like the whole like core crew of Jurassic Park characters, like from the first movie. So I don't think it failed because of potential. I think there was a lot of potential there, but I think it failed because the line was just not very well managed more than anything else. At least that was my observation at the time. Yeah, that's a good point too, Britt. The quality wasn't there for 6-inch scale prices. It was not. The quality wasn't, and it's the same thing with the Hammond collection. The quality is not TVC. This is their collector geared line. And I know we talk about the term that I coined when we talk about Han Solo from TVC with the cankle wrists. I talk about cankle wrists. I've been talking about cankle wrists for years, just in terms of what Mattel does with their Hammond collection line. Pretty much all their humans have cankle wrists. So yeah, cankle wrists. Hashtag cankle wrists. Let's see. Holonet says, speaking of which, the old guy in the white outfit suit never went on clearance. I missed it, and Muldoon. This is true. All right, let's talk TVC. Let's talk Star Wars, the Vintage Collection. The Vintage Collection is the Vintage Collection because it's the Vintage Collection. All right. I'm going to jump over to Instagram, and I am going to take a look at the stories I posted. We're going to get the latest information, and we're going to look at the data, right? I mean, this is obviously a sampling. This is people that follow me, so I mean, there may be some bias, but we're going to go ahead and check it out. All right. So here's what I want to talk first. You guys want to talk who's the next Hanukkah, or do you want to talk? No, let's hold on to that one. Let's talk about price increases. All right, let's talk price increases. Taking a couple screenshots of the responses I've received, and I'm going to airdrop those. Let me just trim out some names that are in here. I'll pull this one out. Okay, so earlier on Instagram, I asked you guys what the price increases, what effect that was going to have on your collections. And this was earlier today. And I want to show you what the fans, what the collectors are saying. Again, these are people that follow me, so I'm sure a lot of them are TVC collectors already. All right, so I posted this on Instagram 9 hours ago. I think I was on my morning break. Let me show you the results. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. All right. So the question was, for the price increase will cause me to blink. As you guys know, TVC figures went from $16.99 to $19.99. That's a $3 price increase, which works out to something like, I don't know, 20 something percent, not 20%, but like, I should know this. I was just talking about math earlier, background in math, and the math's not mathing. It is a pretty significant jump. We're not talking about a $1 jump. This is a pretty significant jump. So I asked, will the price increase cause you to, 1, buy the same, 2, buy a little bit less, 3, buy a lot less, or 4, quit? We'll start at the top. 28% of respondents said that they will buy the same. 49% said they will buy a little less, which is almost half. 21% say they will buy a lot less. And then 2% said that they will quit. As far as how many people are responded to this, here are the numbers. So 15 people said they would buy the same. 26 said they would buy a little less. 11 said they would buy a lot less. And then 1 person said they would quit. That's it. So again, this is a small sampling. This is just anecdotal because it's not like something we're all sharing across like Yak Face and Bantha Skull and all that. This is just me, VC, like pulling this information. I mean, from what I see here, it feels fairly like what I've been hearing from conversations with people. I mean, I'm not going to quit. So, I mean, I probably would have answered maybe buy a little. I don't know. I'd probably be between buy the same and buy a little less. Probably I'm going to buy a little less if I'm realistic, because this stuff instead of buying like 15 501st troopers, maybe I buy 12, right? Instead of buying like an extra or like a 3rd or 4th extra carded A New Hope Princess Leia, maybe I buy 1 extra carded A New Hope Princess Leia, like that kind of a thing. I'm still going to be a completist. I'm still going to buy like one of everything. And then for my carded collection, I tend to do carded for the figures at least. But I'm probably just going to be a little more like the quantity. I'll buy everything, but the quantity of each will be less than what it normally would be before the price increase. Because let's be real, it's not just Hasbro Star Wars. These price increases are happening all over the toy industry, except for Mattel. I don't know how Mattel does it, but they don't really raise prices. They do a little bit, but not too much. These price increases are just hitting all over the place. It's not just Hasbro. It's not just like one company or another. It's not just Star Wars. We feel it. I feel like we feel it more with Star Wars, and I think that's probably because of the license cost. It's part of the reason there. But also because we're demanding that Hasbro in 2025 produce something that speaks to grown collectors who have been doing this for a very long time. Right? A lot of toy lines, most toy lines don't have that expectation. Some do, many do, most do not. So I think this information here sounds about what I would expect. I mean, over a third of people are going to buy the same, over a fourth of collectors say they're going to buy the same. That's about what I would expect. And then about half say they're going to buy a little less. That's the sampling that we have at this point in time. This poll goes for 24 hours. So maybe the information will shift. I don't expect it to shift all that much. So that's the first thing I wanted to look at is what are you guys saying? What are your thoughts? This is a good point. In general, 3 3/4 inch retail, no one can do it better than Hasbro. That is true. Again, Mattel, Hammond Collection, Spin Master, any of these few companies that are doing 3 3/4 inch, they're not doing it at the execution level that Hasbro is. And again, I think that's because collectors demand a certain level of quality from Star Wars, from Hasbro, right? We're not going to settle for the 5 POA thing, right? We're not going to settle for, we call them out, right? When they do things like Princess Leia Endor, when they do things like reusing Chewbacca's like legs on a new body, like that kind of thing, right? Like that's not really like there is a high expectation of TVC quality. Again, the vintage collection is a vintage collection because it's a vintage collection, right? It's a standard. It's a historical standard. It's got the heritage. It's got the legacy, the history, and it's evolved to the point where we demand a certain level of quality, and that's basically where we're at, right? That's basically where we're at this point. Wonder if we're mistaking sideshow quality for toyetic world building. I don't comprehend. Sideshow is, they're not hot toys. I'll just leave it at that. Sci-Fi Dude, good to see you. I don't think anyone is happy about price increases. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I can't imagine anybody would be, but that's just the way things are going. Alton says the price increase pretty much means that unless I really want the figure, it won't find its way into my collection. And that's reasonable, right? I mean, like I said, like people like me and many of you folks out there, like you've been doing this like pretty much your whole lives, right? It's part of our identity. It's part of like what we do, right? I mean, we're spending our Wednesday night here talking about this stuff when we could be doing other things. So it's obviously very, very hugely important to us. So, I think most of us probably just aren't going to cold turkey quit, right? We need to have that, call it an addiction, call it an affliction, call it a passion, but we're in it for the long haul. And I don't think, we don't love the price increase. We don't like it at all, actually, but it's not going to keep us from buying stuff because we've seen how many price increases over the last couple decades, right? I remember during the Saga line in 2002, figures were $4.99. That was 23 years ago. TVC, I think when those came out, they were what, $9.99? Then they went up to like $10.99 and then $11.99. When TVC came back, I think they were $13.99. So, yeah, it just everything goes up, right? I mean, cars, like prices of cars are ridiculous compared to what they were even a decade ago. I mean, it's just one of those things. I don't know what the solution is, right? It's just things go up in price. And there's not really much we can do. We can either buy the stuff or not. And it says that they're still the lowest prices for modern TVC through the quarter. I'm trying to comprehend this. I'm not sure I comprehend. Hold on it. How many of those people are Black Series collectors? Are you asking about the poll? I'd be inclined to think that most of these are TVC collectors. I know I have some people following me that do Black Series, but I think most collectors know I'm TVC focused. I don't really talk Black Series that much, so I would assume. I mean, that could be a follow-up poll we add though. We can add like, are you a TVC or Black Series? I mean, that's something I could do later, for sure. Adam says, for me, scale has no effect on my response. Sci-Fi Dude says, I will buy less TVC. Brent says, hey, Brent, honestly, space is the reason I might buy less. I just can't display much more. And that's kind of where I am at too. Like the price increase, that'll affect me a little bit, right? That'll curb my buying a little bit. But for me, it's more of a space thing, right? It's like I said, our collections grow, our houses do not. Most of the time they don't grow, right? Unless you're doing an addition or you're moving into a bigger home or whatnot. So yeah. Britt says, I scaled back about 2 years ago, and that is why my collecting rate isn't changing this time around. That makes sense. And it says, I typically buy one of everything unless it's the figure I really want an extra, so I won't change that. I will pick up extras as they are available on sale. Yeah, that's fair. Nicholas says, sorry I'm late. Hey, Nicholas. Definitely be cutting back significantly, even if these price increases don't affect us outside of the U.S. Tari says, I've been buying everything this past year because I think the toy market will be much changed and smaller in 2 or 3 years. Yes, you are speaking to a belief that I have as well. That we're kind of like, I would say around 2013, mostly around 2015 when The Force Awakens came out, not just for Star Wars, but in general, there was a huge boom in the toy industry for toys, right? And I think we're going to see that start to shift. And I've been asking, I've done streams here with Jen Larson, and we've talked about this topic before, like when do we hit the roof, right? When do things go the other way? And I think we're going to be there in a couple of years. And I think a lot of it's going to be because of price, right? When does it make sense to pay $50 for a Black Series figure? I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen. It would probably take a very long time for that to be the case. But yeah, I mean, I just think that's going to be, you're pricing things out. It's like anything, right? Like it's like anything. The gold rush, right? Like why did the gold rush stop? Not because the gold ran out, just because it became harder to access the gold. Let's see. July through November says, the only thing on the subject is any 3/4-inch collector grade action figures, Super 7, Boss Fight, Joy Toy are all $20 to $30. None of them have the heavy license fee of Star Wars. TVC is a bit behind on $20. Shh, don't say that. I'm just kidding. Yes, but the reason for that is because two things, and we're talking Super 7 and Boss Fight and them, they have they are much smaller companies. They don't have the resources that Hasbro does. And they have smaller markets overall than Hasbro is aiming for. So lots of variables. And also they've kind of cultivated that price point over time. For 5 POA figures, I mean, $28, like, yikes. It's a lot for a 5 POA figure. That's why a lot of them go on clearance too, I think. It's too expensive. We are very detail-oriented Star Wars fans, Holonet says. Yep. Jason says, not happy. It just is. Right? It's like they say in what was it's one of the movies, not Goodfellas, but one of the what was the more recent one with Joe Pesci and Al Pacino and Robert De Niro from like maybe like 5 years ago? The title's on the tip of my tongue, but it's not coming to me. Anyway, where Pacino is Jimmy Hoffa, and like they say that they're gonna like they kind of hint that they're gonna get rid of him. He's like, what? And they're like, it's what it is. Like, I mean, it's what it is, really, right? Well, what can you do? Either, like I said, you either keep buying or you stop. Sci-fi dude, are you waving hello or are you waving goodbye? Either way, we don't mind. But thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Please do the poll. Yeah, I can do that. Matt says, I buy at least 2 of each, TVC and more on troop builders at discount. Nice. High price diminishes the character selection. We may lose tertiary characters. I mean, I feel like we've been there, though, since TVC came back, right? Like, we don't get those tertiary characters, like, really, ever. Unless it's, like, an exclusive, and even then, it's very, very rare. It's just, they're not making as much as we would like. That's what friends are for. Is this the real John Cena? Wouldn't that be something? Alex, Marvel Legends, maximum $50. Ooh. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. The Irishman. Thank you. Thank you, Dodgson. I knew that's what it was. I just couldn't figure out. I couldn't remember the name. Yes. Now I kind of want to watch it. If I can spare like 4 hours or however long it is. I don't have 4 hours. I wish I did. Brent says that's why Hasbro is best for the line. Despite the price challenges they have, they keep Star Wars through the quarter inch in a good spot. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but what's the alternative? There's like no more like Star Wars toy line. I mean, that's not great either. So it's one of those things. It's like, what is the best worst option, right? I'd rather have a Star Wars toy line. Nice. How do we world build? It doesn't make sense. We're not. I mean, after a certain point, I think it's just going to be the figures. Honestly, I think it's going to come down to that eventually. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but I mean, 5 years down the road, maybe it's just going to be the figures. I think world building as a concept is not going to be viable for forever. I wish it would. Irishman had more CGI than the sequel trilogy. That's funny. All right, let's go to move on to the next one. I just gotta say, I adore the Cantina in the streets of Mos Eisley. I just adore that. That's my favorite thing. That's my favorite thing in all Star Wars. So blessed to have it. So happy to have it. And I mean, they've peaked for me. Like, there's nothing that Hasbro's going to do that's going to top what we got this year for Tatooine, for the Cantina, for Streets of Mos Eisley. Could there have been more? Yes, and we need more, absolutely. But they've peaked for me. I just love it. I'm so in love with this Cantina. I know it's not perfect. I know, there's little things here and there about it that could be a little bit better, but it's like 90% there. I'm so happy for it. I'm so happy that I have it. Like, I've peaked. I mean, I could retire from collecting and be pretty content, but I'm not going to do that because that's not who I am. They've got me good. Not just Hasbro, but any of these companies that I collect, they've got me pretty. They got me by the ears, let's say. Anyhow. All right, let me go and pull up the next one. So the next one was, and I know I said we go for an hour, but I'm having a good time. Let's keep going. The next one was, what is the next Hanukkah Sisters? Let me preface this one. When I say what is the next Hanukkah Sisters, I'm saying this because Hasbro, Chris Reif at Hasbro, during Comic-Con, when I was doing my little interview video with them, he asked me, what are the next Hanukkah Sisters? And I was like, more Hanukkah Sisters? Black Series? Retro? Like, I did not expect that. I love, and it makes me just respect that Chris asked me that. Not only, I mean, he did catch me off guard, not gonna lie, but it's not very often, it really is not very often that during these interviews that they ask you what you want. I did not have a good answer. That's why I was just like, more Hanukkahs. There were so many things I could have said. Arleo shoes. I could have said this. I could have said that. But I was just caught completely off guard. I wish I had a better answer in the moment. The truth is, after all the years of pushing for the Hanukkahs, like, I don't even think at that point I didn't have the Cantina yet. I think like it was still just so like fresh and present in my mind that I hadn't even had time to think about like what's next, because I'm not going to do another Hanukkahs thing, you guys. There's other figures I want, but I'm not going to do that again. That was too much. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. So yes, I'm not going to do that again. But anyway, I'm asking you guys what the next Hanukkah Sisters are, because I saw an article from my friend Chris at Bantha School, and he did an article asking people what they he had some ideas, and then he asked people what they thought the next Hanukkah Sisters were going to be. So let me show you what you guys have said through Instagram, and you can let me know in the chat if you didn't respond to that post. All right. So first of all, I don't know that I had ever seen this picture of the Hanukkahs before, believe it or not. I've seen very similar pictures of them from this photo shoot behind the scenes, but I don't know that I ever saw this exact picture before, which is saying something for me. I don't think I had seen it before. So I used this photo and I said, for tonight's stream, which figure is the next Hanukkah Sisters? And I got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 responses. Not a ton, but 11 responses. And let me show you what responses I received. Dave of the Dead says the Imperial Dignitary Brothers. I gotta say, I like how he calls them brothers. It's kind of funny. Star Wars Gut Check says Garza Whip. I like that. Once upon a time, I really wanted that figure, and I still would, if I'm honest. Dan Curto, or the legendary Dan Curto, says Jackson. I know that there are a few people that want Jackson. And you know what? That could be the next Hanukkahs, you guys. I mean, I think Jackson is less requested than the Hanukkahs were, but Jackson is one that certain people have been asking for a long time, decades. Brives Junctionite says Ponkrell. Brad Montessori says Sim Alu. Brittany says, our friend Britt says Arleo Shoes. New York Bear 31 says hot callus. There we go. There we go. This is Nixtagram says Wolfman. I don't know if he's referring to Arliel Shus or if he's referring to Lax Sivrak. I'm going to go with I'm going to say probably Arliel Shus because we have Lax Sivrak in some capacity. Let's see, what else do we get? Countless Podika says Fozek. Fozek. I think our friend John Miko would appreciate that response. Tana Toyart says Kitsternwald. That is the only answer. And then our friend Jason Garcia says we need more Cantina patrons in TVC. Completely agree. That is obviously the right answer. The rest are invalid. Thank you for playing. I'm just kidding. Yes. I mean, I think these are all good responses. But it doesn't make it easy, right? It's like, and here's the truth. I'm going to tell you guys. First, I got to take a sip because I think my voice is starting to go. Take a sip of Dr. Ebazon, Dr. Pepper. Here's the thing. There are no other Tonica sisters. And I'm not just saying that because it's Victoria from Victoria's Cantina here talking to you. There just aren't. The Tonica sisters were an irregularity, a peculiarity, a forbidden fruit. They were a thing that we always wanted but could never have. They were a thing that we asked for many years and we're always told no. Not just it's in the parking lot, not just maybe someday, not just tell your friends to ask us for it. It was a hard no for a long time. We were told you're not going to get those. You cannot have those. That's all we're going to say. No comment. There's no comparison between any of these other characters to the Tonica sisters. There are long-time requests, yes. Simalu, Jackson, but there are no other figures that compare to the situation that was the Tonica sisters. So if you ask what is the next Tonica sisters, I don't think it's not an easy question to answer because there isn't anything to compare the Tonica sisters to for the reasons I've just outlined. Instead, I think I would say now that you have such a highly demanded figure like the Tonica sisters, what is the next highly demanded figure? And it's easier to say what's the next Tonica sisters, right? But again, it's in my brain, I have a hard time with that because it's such a big conflict of like, it's just not, there's no equivalency there. There are other characters we absolutely need. I think all of these are fantastic responses. And I don't know what the Tonica sisters, whatever the new one is going to have to be a figure that the community rallies around, a character that the community rallies around, and a character that is sung from the heavens, right? That is talked about all the time, that is shared, that people are writing articles about. There has to be a consensus. The Tonicas, I don't think there was ever a point where every person, every TVC collector was holding hands saying, give us the Tonica sisters. I don't think it ever got to that point. But because of the history of the situation, there was a knowledge and an understanding of why we needed those figures to get made. And there were enough people talking about them for it to happen. So I think whatever the next figure is that is a forbidden fruit or is a long shot, it's going to have community consensus. And given what I see on these polls, given what I see discussed online, I don't know that there's any figure at this point in time that has such a consensus. I think Last Figure Standing and March Madness do a really good job of narrowing down what those wants are, but there's still not a universal consensus surrounding any one character. And I think that's what makes this topic kind of challenging, is that it makes it very hard to say Fozek is the next Tonica sisters, or Simalu is the next Tonica sister. Simalu actually has been made, right? So the Tonica sisters had not been made. Fozek has never been made, but Fozek isn't the Tonica sisters. Fozek is Fozek. I love Fozek, by the way. He's just so funny. I just love seeing him like dancing in Jabba's in the katana. And he appears several times. So yeah. I don't have an answer here. I don't think there is a right answer. I don't think there's a wrong answer, but I think if any long shot characters like the Tonicas or anyone else, if we want to see that made, there needs to be community consensus. And I just don't see that happening because I don't think there's any other, there isn't anything quite, it's hard to have that consensus with all the Star Wars media at this point in time. The original trilogy, the prequels, the sequels, the Disney shows, the animation, the video games. We're at a point where I don't think you can really have consensus. I think most of us can agree, like, yeah, we need a new Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan. We need more Cantina characters. We need more. We need to finish the Bad Batch. We need to finish Rogue One. But I don't think there's consensus around like any one character. Not at least not enough to the point where you're going to see a bunch of websites and YouTubes and social media people coming together and banging the drum for a given figure. I think we're past that point, unfortunately. But it's still a fun question to ask, right? Like, what is that one figure that is really, really, really demanded at this point in time? Like for me, honestly, I'm not even going to answer the question because I don't know. I think these answers that I just showed you are just as good, if not better, than any answer I could give you. There are certainly characters that I still want, but I don't know what that one character is that community consensus could be built around. So that's what makes this a difficult topic to focus on. Maybe you could narrow that list down to like a 5, maybe. But it'd be really hard to do that. It would be really hard to do that. Anyway. What do you guys think? I know I asked you guys this question like a while ago. Scroll up a little bit. Thank you, Chad. Thank you. Appreciate that. We will still rally around the right dream projects, Adam says. Yeah. I'm good. Like, I know a lot of people want the Death Star. I've already talked to you guys about the Death Star. I think it's a cool idea, but all I need are some walls. I don't need like a whole HasLab. I just need some walls, like some good walls, like space walls. They did really good stuff. I have some other stuff. It's excellent. Like, give me different walls to recreate like the trash compactor or the meeting room or the Death Star hallways or the red, the room that with the red and the black where the droids hang out, like that kind of thing. Nate says, I need to have a good representation of every scene in the OT before I retire. That's a good goal to have. Holonet says, am I the only one who wants a Vader's Mustafar Castle Fortress in TVC? I doubt it, but I haven't heard many people asking for that either. Can you imagine how big that would be? That would have to be like really, really, like what, 7 feet tall? Bigger? I don't know. Greg says, 3D printing seems to be a growing part of the hobby and could take over if toy companies cannot. Yeah, that is another thing, right? I mean, so many people are 3D printing their stuff these days. Pico Obi-Wan Punkrell, buy him at any price. Come at me, Hasbro. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people want Punkrell. Ooh, I like this, Adam. I struggle with the Tonica question, but it's very subjective, so mine is Chalman. Yes. Build out the Cantina, Hasbro. Like, you're gonna make me happy. Finish the mains, like remake some of the mains, and then finish helping me build out the perfect Cantina. And then that's all I want. That's all I need. That's all I want. Hot Toys, Tonica Sisters. Okay, now we're on to something. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. Yes. Figured you meant Black Series by more Tonicas. Yes, I think I even said that in the video. I said Black Series, Retro Collection. Like, I was just batting them off. Tonica Sisters carrying case. On one side of the carrying case, it's Brie. On the other side, it's Senny. Simalu, Brent says. Okay. Nate says Cammy and Fixer. Simalu and all the advisors. Arc 501 says next Tonica's is XR Kun and Ulick Keldroma. Did they do XR Kun? Am I misremembering something here? Simalu, Jackson, Shadow Luke is the best things that are requested a long time. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Jackson could be that because Jackson has been asked for a long time. I'm not talking about like the last 10 years. I'm talking people have been asking for Jackson for a lot longer than that. A lot, like decades. Not to the anywhere near the extent of the Tonicas, but there are people that have been asking for Jackson for a really long time. Holinette says, I want Nomi Sunrider. Dodgen says, the next Tonicas is Balo. You've heard of Tonica Time. Get a load of bring back Balo. Yeah. Could be. Nate also says, to rise to that level, it has to be from the original trilogy or something super obscure like the Holiday Special or one of the Ewok Adventure movies. I don't think I need anything from the Ewok Adventure movies, you guys. I don't think I do. I want Eknina. I know I've talked about that before. Britt says, I figure it's Arleel Shoes since he has the most barriers just based on HasLab rules. I really hope Arleel is in that 4-pack. We already know they use the legs on Jod Nawood. Speaking of whatever happened to Skeleton Crew, that's another. I mean, that's a whole other thing we haven't talked about in a while. Is when are we going to finish that crew? I mean, do I even want to finish that crew? It's like Andor. I really want figures from Andor, but we got to finish the other crews we already started first, right? Like, don't give me Bix Colleen and not give me Baze Malbus, right? Like that kind of thing. Like, I need to finish the crews we already started years and years and years ago. Best thing Hasbro can do for 2016, the 10th anniversary of Rogue One, is to finally give us Baze Malbus, give us Bodhi Rook, give us Galen Erso, give us Saw Gerrera. Like, I think that would make a lot of people very happy. And it would go a long way to building, the trust and the investment that people have put into TVC for the last 10 years since Rogue One was out. Bespin, Luke, and Han would be the second most requested, but Balo takes this spot because Balo has never got the proper justice in any toy line. Fair enough. Allison says, I'd stick with Tatooine, Swilla, and Cammy. Okay. What about Jenny? You could put your Han Solo with his cankle wrist around Jenny like that. Modern Vlix. That would be interesting. Wolvif Mon. We have Wolvif Mon. We've got him already. Long time request is the next thing because it's what I said on your show. It shows that they listen to the customer. Yeah. Allison says they were in the same boat as Tarkin, wanted way back when Kenner didn't make them. That was a long time ago. What about a TVC White Witch? Ponkrell. I mean, I know Ponkrell has his fans. I'm not saying anything. Ponkrell has his fans. TVC Lisa Serlin. We have Lisa Serlin. She's not TVC, but we have Lisa Serlin. She could be better. I mean, after all, she is from 2009, right? She could be better, I will say. But she's pretty good. She's pretty good. Lat Gunship Vintage Collection. We're getting that. We're getting that through the HasLab. There we go. Somebody mentioned Jenny. Adam says, another thing to keep in mind is there is no other figure that has a Victoria to dedicate so much love and effort to. Well, thank you, Adam. I mean, there could be some other person out there, though. There could be some other person that could do that. Sci-Fi Dude says, do we want Maul Shadow Lord TVC? Do we? I gotta Google this one. I feel like I know what it is, but I kind of don't off the top of my head. Oh, from the show, right? Is that from the show, the upcoming series? Yeah, they better make a Darth Maul for that. Yeah, they better make a Darth Maul for that. No Babu Frick? What, the Babu Frick? No, there is no Babu Frick, but there are Anzellans, the ones that came with IG 12, 13? I don't even know. Is this TVC only talk tonight? No, we talked Tron and we talked Jurassic World. But yes, now we're talking TVC. Because there isn't really any 6-scale news, I don't think. Nicholas says the next Tonikas would have to be someone like Ula, who Hasbro wouldn't otherwise make without a lot of community pressure. We need a new Ula. I can see her. She's right like 2 feet away. I'm happy with the Ula we have, but I mean, she could be a lot better. She could be a lot better. Hot Toys Tonica should be part of the next coming millennium line. I agree. The thing is, I don't know how the contracts work out. I don't know what else they can make with the Tonicas. I really don't. I generally don't know how that works out. They made them for TVC, but I don't know. I don't know how that extends to other versions of them or not. I really don't. I realized you put the decals on your streets. Awesome. Yes, I did. So I only put the decals on the Streets of Mos Eisley pieces, not on the Cantina. Although I did put some pieces around the Cantina to make it look like they're part of the Cantina. But yes, I really like those stickers. They only did Exarchon in the Legacy Collection 2-pack. Okay, I thought so. Archive first agrees. Comic packs were cool. The comic packs were really cool. And they only cost $10 when they first started. They weren't $10 for long, though, I don't think. Darth Bane, a.k.a. Shredder, 1990 from TMNT 35th anniversary. Leo, are you trolling me? Is that what this is here? Ewok Battle Wagon, HoloNet says. Ooh. Jason says Akmina. My man. Yes. I knew I wasn't the only one. I knew I wasn't the only one. Let's see. Yeah, what do you want to talk about, Charlie? You tell me. What do you want to talk about? The Lumia figure was pretty cool when it came out. I don't think I really appreciated it as much at the time, but now I appreciate it more. Hot Toys should do a Spider-Man for Halloween. That would be pretty cool. I don't know if I'd buy it, but that would be pretty awesome. We're not getting any more Ula merch. Why not? Princess Leia's job is slave in modern articulation, photorealism. That'd be a cool one. I mean, I asked Hasbro this. The video's on YouTube. They told me that there's no rules. They can make whatever they want. I mean, if they have license agreements from anyway. People forget that Disney sold an Ula Vinylmation in their parks years after owning Star Wars. Thank you for that, Greg. That is a very good point. Vinylmation, that was one of my big passions back in like 2010, 2011. Huge passion of mine. I still have like 100 of them. I still, and only a few of them are Star Wars. Most of them are other stuff. They're kind of the sort of thing I should get rid of, but like it took a lot of work to get those, and I really do like them. It's one of those things that I just can't display, because they don't take priority. All right, so there's one more thing I asked you guys on Instagram. We'll go ahead and share that before we get into our new acquisitions. It looks like we might hit the 2-hour mark after all. All right, so the last one was Q&A. It was just questions that you guys wanted to ask, and you can drop questions here in the chat too if you want to. But I'm going to go ahead. I got a few. I got like 6 questions, so I'll go ahead and read those out. All right. SD Medic 1 asks, what is your most expensive collectible? My most expensive collectible. Let me think about this for a second. Like, I'm trying to think, like, is this what I paid? What is the most expensive? It could be the Hot Toys Artisan Anakin, the dark side version. It could be that. I didn't pay what a lot of people were paying. Actually, it could also be the Hot Toys Batmobile, the Batman 89 Batmobile. It could be one or the other, I guess. But that's all going to change soon, because I did, as you guys, some of you know, I did pre-order the Jazz Inc. Deluxe all-in Batman Returns Catwoman, and that's 100% going to be the most expensive one. So, at this point in time. I don't even know when that's coming out, though. Hopefully that comes out soon-ish. New York Bear 31 says, where are the Cantina aliens? Where are the Cantina aliens? I have no idea. I want to see that 4-pack just as much as anyone else does, right? I really want to see that 4-pack, right? Like, where is it? Where's the 4-pack? They teased us back in July at Comic-Con. It's now October. I want to know what's in that 4-pack. I want to know what's in that 4-pack. Because that 4-pack to me is like more important than anything else that they have pipelined right now. Here, this is my guess. Arleel Shoes. I'm being optimistic. Arleel Shoes. Then Nabrin Leeds, but not Nabrin Leeds, the one that has like the pearlescent, like the more white sort of outfit. I'm guessing those two. I'm also gonna say maybe Greedo. Well, no, I think they said it would be new figures. Okay, not Greedo. But the Nabrin Leeds is technically a repaint, but it's a different character, so it's not really a repaint. Okay, so Arleel Shoes, the other version of Nabrin Leeds, I forget the name. And then I'm gonna say Cantina Dude, you know, the spacer with the Bosk and the helmet. And then let's go out on a limb here. Let's say that it is a Zizvit. Zizvit. That's probably not any of those, honestly. I really don't know what it is. I'm just guessing. I think I'm being a little hopeful too with these guesses. The response to the Boba Fett's throne room, it was very positive. What is the next set in this model? That's a good question because that was a very unique thing. We were talking about it a little earlier. It was almost like a made to order thing, right? It was supposed to be a HasLab. It was supposed to be a HasLab, but when the series didn't do so well, they ended up not doing it as a HasLab. It's not that it didn't do well; it's just that the ratings weren't best. I would say that the next thing that should follow that model, I'm going to name a few. I'm going to say Echo Base, some sort of an Echo Base. I'm going to say let's go with an Endor. Let's go with an Endor sort of like treehouse. And then let's go with like a Dagobah sort of setup. I think that would be cool. I think those would work. This question comes from our friend Britt. What are your grails for your major franchises? Ooh, let me think about this for a second. Sorry, it's taking me a minute to think about this one. What do we start with? Let's start with Jurassic. The command compound. No. Yes. With the gate. You guys remember that crowdfund Mattel tried to do with the gate? Command compound with the Jurassic Park gate. That's for Mattel Jurassic. Batman. Because these are my big three. It's Star Wars, Jurassic, and Batman. Batman would be the 89 Batcave would be pretty cool if it was 3 3/4 inch scale. And then I would say for Star Wars, Arleel Shoes. Right now, those would be my grails. And then our friend Adam, our moderator. What are some of your 6 scale? What are some of your dream, your 6 scale dream figures? So Adam, I think my dream 6 scale figures. I hadn't even thought about Tonicas, to be honest, but now that you guys mentioned them, those are kind of exciting. For Star Wars, I really want them to revisit A New Hope. I think they could do an amazing Luke Skywalker from A New Hope, Princess Leia from A New Hope, Han Solo from A New Hope, Ben Kenobi, all those. I think those would be great. I was buying Hot Toys. I started in 2016, but I did not get a lot of those New Hope figures. And I wish that I had, but it was just one of those things where it wouldn't have been possible at the time. But I got Leia, and I love Leia. She's like one of my favorites still. So I feel like those would be cool. For Batman, we're getting the Jazz Inc. Selena Kyle from Batman Returns, the Catwoman from Batman Returns. That one would have been a dream figure, but she's being made. And I know Jazzing's doing like Julie Newmar. They're also doing the Wonder Woman Linda Carter. Do you guys remember Chronicle Collectibles? They were doing Jurassic Park 6 scale stuff, or they were supposed to do Jurassic Park 6 scale stuff. At Comic-Con one year, they actually showed a 6 scale Velociraptor from the first Jurassic Park. It's in one of my YouTube videos, I think from like 2016 or something. And they also had like a 6 scale, I think it might have been Alan Grant and Owen Grady. They were supposed to do a 6 scale line. Chronicle Collectibles was supposed to do a 6 scale line for Jurassic. The Raptor was freaking awesome. The humans were kind of like Sideshow, I guess. Like that sort of thing. I would still love to see it. I mean, I wouldn't have room probably for 6 scale dinosaurs, but maybe a raptor would be pretty cool. I mean, if it looked anything like the Chronicle one, I think that'd be awesome. Chronicle Collectibles, they scrapped it. They didn't do them, and then they disappeared. I don't even think they exist anymore. But they did make some Jurassic stuff, just not 6 scale. And then Tops375, who's also here with us in the chat. Is TVC done at Target? What do we see the future of physical retail to be in regards to TVC? Have you guys seen how Walmart is getting solid cases of certain figures? It's really strange. I don't know why that's happening. I don't think that should be happening unless we're talking like Stormtroopers or Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker, like that kind of a thing, or Mandalorian. I'm mandoed out though. But those are the kind of characters, Darth Vader, that maybe makes sense as solid case packs. I think toys in general, especially like collector oriented toys in general. I'm talking like NECA. I'm talking like maybe even some Funko stuff. I think you're going to continue to see that shift more online as it's been doing for the past several years. A lot of this stuff is going to be primarily, if not strictly, online only before too long. And it's going to that's kind of just going to be where things are going. So I think you'll continue to see TVC at retail, but it is going to dwindle in terms of how much collector geared product, especially with the increase in costs, rising prices. Toys are becoming less of a thing that makes sense in stores in general. So we've seen toy footprints shrink at Walmart and Target, and I think that's going to continue to be the case. I mean, they can obviously make big profits on inexpensive toys, but like collector gear toys, I think those are going to continue to shift online. All right, to the chat. Those are the questions I received to the chat. Adam's curious about everyone's most expensive collectible. Charlie says it's Hulkbuster. Mark 44. Sci-Fi Dude, are you dressing up for Halloween? If yes, what's your costume? Indeed I am, Sci-Fi Dude. Indeed I am. I have 3 costumes. That's not normal, but I have 3 costumes because I have 3 events to attend. The first one coming up, I'm going to be attending the Oogie Boogie Bash at Disney's California Adventure at Disneyland. And I'm going to be going as the Haunted Mansion Bride in the Attic. It's a really cool costume. I'm very excited about it. But yes, the Haunted Mansion Bride from the Attic. That's the one I'm kind of going like pretty all out for. It's not going to be the most, like, I'm sure there's better ones that are going to be out there, but this one's for me, who usually doesn't like go all out. I love Halloween so much, but I rarely even dress up. That, and then we have a Halloween party to attend, and I'm supposed to go as like a villain from a movie or a bad person from a movie. Tentatively, I'm thinking Kylo Ren, just because it's easy. I wear black already as it is. I have the lightsaber. I've got the helmet. I got a cape. I could easily do Kylo Ren. I'll just paint the scar on my face, carry around the helmet, carry around the lightsaber, and boom. And then the last one is I'm doing Batgirl or Batman. I don't know. I like Batman better than Batgirl, but I guess it's kind of Batgirl. Want to be technical about it. And that one is going to be for a bike ride. I'm participating on a bicycle ride with my bike club that I'm part of. That we're going to be doing next, for Halloween. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, I'll take pictures. I'll show you guys the pictures. So we'll do that. We'll take pictures and we'll show you guys. We'll post them on social. We'll show them here next week, whatever it is, or after that. Good question though. More expensive than a HasLab? Yeah, there are things that are more expensive than HasLab. 6 scale stuff. I need to curate my Hot Toys collection. You guys, I have too many. I love them all. I love some more than others. I love some less than others. I need to curate it a little bit. That's easier said than done. But if and when I do, it's more of a when I do. I should probably give you guys dibs if anyone's interested. And some cool ones that are coming too that are just, can't wait. Allison says, hopefully Catwoman comes out in early to mid 2026. Gives me time to absorb the hit. Good point. I need to, for stuff like that, I just like to have like money ready to go so that it's not a surprise. So I agree. It gives me, after all this Hasbro stuff and all these like Hot Toys that have been processing in recent months, it will be nice to have some recuperating time. Dodgson says, either one of my 2 red Rexes, my first bull or my second Allosaurus Assault figure I bought in January. Nice. Shari says, most expensive future collectible going to be the Ghostbusters 2.0 after tax and tariffs. Yeah, that makes sense. Greg says, Vinylmation is a small Mickey Mouse figure painted to look like various characters, and I believe Ula was sold around 2016, same year we got our Funko Pop. Yes, that's a good explanation of what Vinylmations are. And there were also, they came in 9-inch too. I have some of the 9-inch ones, but those are mostly like the posters for Disneyland, like the old attractions that are, most of them are gone. PW One's most expensive is amazing gift from his brother-in-law. Vintage Star Wars 12-back stand acquired at a yard sale for $5. Ooh, but worth a lot more. That is pretty cool.
That belongs in a museum.
Can we just see the photos? I love all the comments that are coming through, you guys. Lots of things to discuss tonight. You guys are showing up for it. It's good stuff. Is Mario with us? Hey, Mario. I heard Charlie the Acorn has over 1,000 Hot Toys in his collection. Is that true, Charlie? Charlie says no, not even close. Maybe he does, though. Maybe he's just being coy. Adam says, I probably paid the most for the 6-scale Jabba and vintage movie posters for Psycho and North by Northwest. Ooh, I want to see those. I love that. Did any of you guys go to the Regal theater nearby my house? I think like once a week they do like a classic film. And I usually can't go because it's usually like during the week. But like during summer break and stuff when I'm off, like what did I see last? It was a few weeks ago actually that I was able to go and I saw Sunset Boulevard, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I got to see that on the big screen. That was awesome. That was just really cool. I love classic films, but I love seeing them on the big screen because there's nothing like that. It's one thing to watch them on the TCM app. but to see them like on the big screen, it's like you're seeing it the way that people saw it, 60, 70 years ago. So I don't think anything beats that, really. Chari says the 50th, 1977 will hit hard for the New Hope figures from Hot Toys. You can pretty much bank on it. Star Wars is Howard Chan's favorite IP. Thankfully, we have a couple of years before we get there. But yeah, that'll be really exciting. Helenette says he saw the solid cases at the Walmart collectibles display. There were so many Mandalorian Super Commandos. And also never heard of Chronicle collectibles. What's up, Cujo? How you doing? Good to see you. Matt says the most expensive for him is the Tomy Back to the Future DeLorean. Did you guys know Back to the Future is coming? It's going to be in theaters pretty soon here. I think next week. I need to make an effort to go and see it. I've never seen it in the theaters before. So it's just the first movie, but that's obviously the best one. So I need to go see it. I think it's in IMAX as well, like 3D, and also in Dolby at AMC. It says that $800 is the most I spent on anything Star Wars related other than my trip to the Star Cruiser Hotel. Ooh. Charlie says, I had a chance for a fully signed principal cast and crew for Top Gun and used movie poster for close to $1,000 25 years ago. Regret passing. I mean, to be fair, that was a lot of money. But yeah, that would have been really cool. It's one of my favorite movies. Is it a great movie? It's one of my favorite movies. Anyway, last thing I want to, before we get to new acquisitions, just kind of touch on is the fact, and this, I was thinking about this the other day, and then I saw a post on Bantha Skull from my friend Chris saying that our pre-orders for Hasbro are, I mean, they're, other than like some Black Series stuff and like the Shock T and Padme Amidala, which aren't on pre-order yet, for TVC, we pretty much got everything. Like there's not really anything outstanding that we don't have, which is very rare. It's weird too, right? Because that means that for the rest of this year, 2025, there's not going to be any more TVC other than the Darth Vader's TIE Fighter that's still going to be shipping to us. And other than anyone who's still waiting for like the land speeder. I know my friend Jason, the Kiwi man, still hasn't received his Cantina or his land speeder over in New Zealand. Other than folks still waiting for like the holdouts like that, there's nothing we're really waiting on. We should be seeing the rest of the Shock T and Padme wave this weekend at MCM London. But and then pre-orders will go up, and then we'll have pre-orders outstanding. But it's weird because everything is pretty much shipped. Everything was very, 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 very expensive like last couple months, but it'll be nice to just have some breathing room and then kind of use that time. At least I'll be using that time to kind of make some choices here because the collection's getting a little out of hand. And every now and then I'll try and go back and thin it out a little bit. But again, our collections grow, our houses don't. So some choices will need to be made. Not the Cantina. That's never going anywhere. I will literally die with that Cantina and those Tonica sisters. Can't say that for most other things in the collection. Actually, yes, I can, because I can't see myself being without some of my old Kenner Jurassic Park stuff that my grandmother's got for me. Or one of my new acquisitions I'm going to show you in just a little bit. But yeah, I think it's nice to appreciate what we've gotten, especially in a really like heavy collecting year like this year has been. And then kind of just think about the future and how we want to do things the same or do things differently. And just kind of evolve how we pursue this hobby. Like I always say, collecting as a collection, it's a living, breathing thing. It's an evolving thing. It's something that changes. There's highs, there's lows, but it is one of the few constants in our lives, right? Especially people like us that are here on, like I said, on a Wednesday night talking about toys. It is a constant for us. It's part of our identity. It's part of our passion. It's part of what we do, who we are, what we love. And I think that's a great thing. I think that's something we're celebrating. And I think that, it's great to just kind of take a step back and just take joy and pride in what we have, and think about how we're going to do things differently. I'm not going to do this forever. I'm not going to collect forever. I'm not going to be on YouTube forever, probably. I can't see myself not getting busier, basically. And again, our collections grow, our houses don't. So sometimes, at some point, I don't know when that's going to be. Hopefully not anytime soon, but I think at some point, 10 years down the road, I don't know. I think things might change a little bit, but that's just me. I could be wrong. What I think today might be different tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, I say that it is time to move on to new acquisitions, but let's just do a quick run through the chat real quick. Brad says his most expensive items are his Mythos Obi-Wan and Vader statues, the ones made around 2013-14. Very cool. Yeah, so many amazing collectibles. Look at the diversity of collecting that we have in this here in the Cantina tonight, you guys. I mean, people that collect everything: Star Wars, Jurassic, DC, Tron, 6 scale, 6-inch, 3 1/4. How many YouTube channels have people that collect that range? I saw Funko Pops. I saw Lego. I mean, all kinds of things. I love that. I love that. Sci-Fi Dude says, I saw Back to the Future in theaters, all 3. Back in the day. Tari has a poster also for Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome. Framed. Spent 15 years rolled up. So I could afford to frame. Nice. Picoby1 says, yep, I'm almost done. A few figures and Ty and Banthan, that's it. Mario says, this year seemed everything TVC was released so soon after the pre-orders went up. It did feel that way at times, certainly. Guesses on what other figures are in the next wave? Nicholas asks. Phase 1 Clone Trooper and ... I'm going to say that you're right on one of those. I honestly don't know. But I would say the Clone Trooper makes sense. But the Clone Trooper also makes sense for a 4-pack, like an army builder pack. I really want to get the officers. I hope they do a 4-pack, like with the officers. I don't need them carded. I just want the officers. So I'd rather see them, but yeah, I think that an alternate card compared to what we got a couple years ago would be pretty cool. Adam says, I will use this quiet window to pay off Hot Toys. Nice. I hope you have a crypt. Alex, you see you're going to need a shed for more room. PW1 is collecting Jada and Micro Galaxy Squadron. Nicholas says, gratitude for what we have is the way. Yes, it is. Mario says, unfortunately, everything has to come to an end, even our hobbies. Everything. I don't want to be morbid. I don't want to be, but yes, you're right. Everything does. That's life, right? That's life. Things change, things evolve, things end. Toys. Rock on. Holland, it says, my income needs some growing. Relatable. Brad says, that's where I'm at now. At Nicholas, I'll order the Padme, but it's time for me to pause active collecting. Just spend more time enjoying what I have. The times are changing. Mario says, my most expensive Star Wars purchase was Iron Studios 1/4 scale ESB Vader 40th anniversary. Very cool. That's a really cool one. Brad has 3 items on pre-order. Hot Toys Return Revenge of the Sith Vader, Revenge of the Anakin, Revenge of the Obi-Wan. Oh yeah, I got plenty of Hot Toys on pre-order. I'm just talking about Hasbro, like Star Wars TVC. And none of those are showing up for a year or more. Thank goodness. I did pay off the Wednesday figure though, because well, actually, when I ordered it, I paid it in full just because I wanted to get it right away. And now that it seems like people are starting to get it, it's like, okay. I hope I'm one of the first. I hope I'm one of the first. Nate says, I curate stuff. So there's stuff in storage, stuff on display, and stuff that's in a corner to be sold so that I can fill the other corner with new stuff. Nice. The Last Jedi explained it well. Life to death to make more life. Makes sense. Mario says, getting too difficult to keep up with TVC and Hot Toys. It is. That's what I mean. Like TVC is like, I mean, you collect any one of these lines, like, okay, you already have your hands full. But like some of us, like, collect multiple lines. Yeah, that's where the hard decisions like have to be made, right? It's just like you can't collect it all. I mean, you could maybe, but you can't collect it all. Did you sculpt it or rooted hair on Wednesday? They did the sculpted hair. Yeah, she's only sculpted. I think she looks a lot better though from what I've seen recently compared to what I saw when they put her for pre-order. Because I thought when they put her for pre-order, she looked good, but not 100%. Maybe like a 80% there, 75, 80%. But now that what I've seen like in videos and stuff and photos online, she looks maybe like 90%. So I'm hoping it's also one of those that when you get in person, it's even better than what you see in photos and videos, because that would be really cool. All right, I'm going to just airdrop one of my new acquisitions from this week, and then we will talk. We'll talk about new acquisitions. New acquisitions. And then let's see. What else? Oh, I just wanted to show you guys one thing real quick. I've been working on my Streets of Mos Eisley. Because I didn't have all the droids in there. I'm pretty sure I own all of the droids that have been made for Streets of Mos Eisley going back like decades, but I wasn't, I don't have them all out. Some of them are in storage, I think, because I couldn't find them. So I'm going to have to spend a day to go out there and try to go over there and try to get them if I can. But anyway, Streets of Mos Eisley, we could do a whole segment on that. We're not going to do it. We're just going to mention it briefly. This guy was a Build-A-Droid back in the Legacy Collection era. And he is on, I apologize, I don't have the names. He is seen wandering around Mos Eisley. This guy right here came in a 2-pack with Plo Koon. Was a Walmart exclusive. Come on. You can do it, camera. You got this. You got this, buddy. Maybe you don't. This guy was there we go. He came with Plo Koon, but there is a very similar looking droid to this guy on the Streets of Mos Eisley. If not exactly the same. They may have even used that design to create this figure. So this guy is going into the Streets of Mos Eisley. Lastly, let me take this guy's head off. This one right here actually came out a few years ago when okay, this isn't Hasbro. This is, I know this is sacrilege to some people, but this is from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. This guy came in the 4-pack from Obi-Wan Kenobi series. And this one is also in Streets of Mos Eisley. It even has the same name as the one in A New Hope, but it's also in the Obi-Wan series. This is Droid Factory. It's not Hasbro, but what I found out recently is the head comes off, because all the Disney droids, the heads come off and parts come off. If you have the TVC figure of R2-D2 that came out, I don't know, last year, this one, it was a repaint. I think it's based on the Last Jedi, like 5 POA line R2, which it's the best one. You can take the head off this one because the Droid Factory one doesn't have wires on the feet. You can actually take that dome and it plugs right into the TVC figure. Look at that. So if you're concerned about the legs on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series one, not having the wires, then you can just pop the head and put it on the TVC R2-D2. I will say that the Droid Factory, Droid Depot version has wear and tear. Like it has like a bunch of weathering, whereas the TVC one doesn't, unless you're using the original TVC one from a few years back that had all the weathering on it. So it's nice to have options. Trying to see what else comes off. The legs, the middle legs do not work. The center legs don't work because they are a completely different shape. Like the slots don't work. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. The legs seem like they interchange as well. This is interesting. Oh, wow. So the Droid Factory legs, the side legs, they go onto the TVC body, and the TVC legs go into the Droid Depot body. So again, not the center leg, that one doesn't work, but the side ones do, and the head, the dome, they both work. I just found that out right now that the side legs work. So pretty cool. Nice to have those options. And the legs are about the same length, so I don't see any problems here with they're the same exact scale, same exact size. And I know there's a couple others that I believe I have in storage I need to look for. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys real quick because I've been going down this rabbit hole of like the droids of Mos Eisley, and I wanted you guys to see that. Anyway, you still don't have the Streets of Mos Eisley. You need to get that. You need to get that. Just taking a quick read through here. Did you get the Cantina Adventure set? Yes. Yeah, oh yeah. I agree. It's one of my favorite releases too. It's fun. You didn't get the Cantina? Oh, that's too bad, Mario. You just wanted the figures. I have a Cantina available. It doesn't have the figures, unfortunately, but I do have a Cantina if you want. Just if you did want the Cantina by itself, I do have the standard Cantina available. An extra. All right. Well, why don't we get into that final segment of the evening? I know you guys have been waiting for it. And contrary to what I said about me being by myself tonight meant we were only going to go for about an hour. When does that ever happen? When does that ever happen? All right, let's go and get into new acquisitions.
Good. New acquisitions.
Sweet. All right, you guys. Let me show you what I got. We're going to start with McFarlane. So I got the Penguin. I pre-ordered all of them from Entertainment Earth. For whatever reason, they sent me the Penguin, but they still haven't sent me the others. I'm a little disappointed because I found out that the penguin has the right hand is the flipper, like in the movie, but the left hand has the 5 fingers. What's up with that? Why would they do that? I mean, I know why they would do it, but like, come on. Like, how often do we get Tim Burton Batman toys? And they couldn't even give him the flipper, like, left hand. It's a normal 5-fingered hand. Ugh. It's like so close, right? Like so close, yet so far away. The back is pretty cool, though. That classic poster. I used to have this poster on my wall back in when this movie came out. Let's see. I have another McFarlane Batman thing. This one just came in today, actually. This one is the GameStop exclusive. This is the duck with the penguin. So another penguin. I don't know what his finger situation is, but he does have the whole duckmobile, whatever you want to call it. And it looks really cool. I will say that the paint on this one looks just like the movie. It looks spectacular. It looks really, really good. I don't know where I'm going to put this, but I am happy to have this. I will say, like, wow, who would have thought we'd get this in this like larger action figure scale? It is really, really cool. It's very heavy. I got to say, there's a lot of weight right here. It's very heavy. So there's that. I also went to Disneyland this past weekend. Put my annual pass to use. And so earlier this year, they had the Haunted Mansion Bride sipper. Previously to that, they had the Hatbox Ghost as a sipper. And I had both of them. Now there is this, it's called Victor Geist. That's the name of the character. He is the gentleman in the ballroom. If you know the Haunted Mansion, he's in the ballroom and he is playing the organ. The organ in the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland is the same exact prop that was used in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Captain Nemo. It's the same exact organ they put in the Haunted Mansion, where it's been ever since the attraction opened in 1969. So this is the Victor Geist sipper. So it does have this is where you would sip it from. There's a straw right here. And then you push it back down. It has a strap. The strap says Disney Parks, and it has like some ghosts on it. And the Victor Geist is a little clear blue ghost. And he's playing his organ. And it's pretty cool. It does have a button on the bottom. This is actually also kind of hefty. Turn it on. And then from there, you push the... Wait, where was the button? I forgot. So the figure glows blue, and then the candles, they're orange. They actually, the figure does flicker a little bit. It does flicker a little bit, like it's like right there, like it pulsates, so it dims and then it brightens. It's actually really cool. It's actually really cool, and I love that you can hear it plays the organ music from that part of the Haunted Mansion scene. So that's my favorite attraction at Disney is the Haunted Mansion. I love all things Haunted Mansion. Then the last thing I actually got this a few weeks ago, but I haven't had an opportunity to unbox it until the other day. I think on Sunday, actually, I unboxed it finally, and I already put it up on display. I'll have to make a video one of these days. But this right here, I don't have it. Like I got to share it because it's too big to have it like right here. But I got the Star Speeder 1000. This is the one that Disney put up for pre-order on DisneyStore.com for May the 4th. and it is the 3¼ inch scale. So it holds a bunch of figures. It's electronic, has the lights, the sounds. It plays the different Star Tours scenes. And I was actually really impressed because it'll play the entire thing from Star Tours. It's not just like a minute of like a 5-minute thing. It's no, plays the whole 5 minutes, and it is randomized. So you may get the intro with Kylo Ren, and then you may go to Tatooine. Then you may get the Mandalorian, and then you might go to Coruscant, and then you might end on Alderaan. Like it has like it's randomized. I didn't realize this because I hadn't really watched YouTube videos of it. It is randomized. So there's all kinds of possible scenarios. I played through it like 5 times, and every single time it was a different like beginning, middle, and then character, different end, and then different end part. Really impressed with this. It is such a cool thing. I wish I could show you like a video of it, but I didn't, there's videos on YouTube, and it is on display, and I will show you guys because I already had the one from last year. Just a comparison side by side of the two. Like for me, I thought there's no way they're going to top the one from last year because that one came with the display base that lights up. This one is better. It is better overall. The quality is just better. It is the paint scheme to me looks more attractive. And even though it doesn't have the base, I mean, it's got the landing gear, so you don't really need the base. The landing gear is a little hard to work with. And then it has C-3PO and R2-D2 included. You get both of them included with the set, which I forgot to take a picture of those. But and you also get the little droid on the next to R2-D2, the little camera droid that pops out. But yeah, I think the electronics like just are more impressive in the new one too. Just works a little bit better. So those are my acquisitions for the week. Go ahead and stop sharing. Let's see here. Yeah, the Duckmobile is awesome, and it is very large. Yeah, Duck is cool. Yeah, you should get the Duck, Alex. I don't know if GameStop still has it on the website, but you can definitely check it out. All right, says the Haunted Mansion Oregon player sipper is so cool. I saw that at the parks a couple months ago. It is really cool. Like anything Haunted Mansion they do, like they're gonna sell me on like for like sippers and popcorn buckets and that sort of thing. This is a great collectible in Oregon. I think so too. It's fun. It's fun. Disneyland sipper cups and popcorn buckets are a slippery slope, but they're so cool. They are so cool, and they are a slippery slope. I have more than a few. Grim Greedy Ghosts come out to socialize. That is true, Dodgson. They sure do. Mary says her sister just bought her the Haunted Mansion sipper. My favorite attraction too. Awesome. I'm glad you're getting it too, Mary. It's really fun. I hope you like it. Yeah, Star Speeder is awesome. Yeah, the red looks really nice. I wish the real Star Speeder. Star Tours ride was like that. Yeah, it should be now because it went into refurbishment and just came back out like last month, and I think now it is. They kind of like tweaked it a little bit. I did ride it last weekend, and where did I go? Started with the droid, the big I don't know, the droid, and then it went to Tatooine, which I don't like it when it goes to Tatooine just because I've done it so many times. Then we got Princess Leia. She says, "Help me, Star Tours. You're my only hope." And then we went to Coruscant, which I'm okay with, and then we ended on Alderaan, like the base outside of Alderaan or whatever. I never got to experience the Rise of Skywalker one in the Endor or the Death Star wreckage. I never got to experience that one because when COVID COVID happened, it all closed. I never got a chance to go do that. So I don't know if that's even a possibility anymore. Would have been cool if it came with guests or Disney park goers. I mean, you could put whatever figures you want in it, which is cool. What did you guys get? I want to know. Let's take a look. PGoB1 says, new acquisitions, Disney Holiday Astro. Oh, I forgot to show that one. It's in the other room. I did get that too. Micro Squad, latest minifigs, Cloud Car, and Z95 with 2 tubes, TVC Han Solo. Nice. Charlie says, no new acquisitions this week, but plenty of pre-orders. Payment plan damage to the bank account. Relatable. Adam says, new acquisitions are TVC and New Hope Chewie, Black Series Chimere, and Night Trooper. Darth Profi says, new acquisitions, Hot Toys Phase 1 Cody, Hot Toys Airborne Trooper, Hot Toys Elite Squad Trooper, Hot Toys Imperial Praetorian Guard, and TVC Vader TIE Advanced shipped today. My dude, those are a lot of acquisitions. That's pretty freaking awesome. Congrats on all of those. Mary says, I acquired the Hammond Collection Stego and JP3 Spino, Jurassic World Rebirth Story Packs, Spino Danger Set, Zora Bennett, Velociraptor, and Dr. Henry Loomis with Pteranodon. Good stuff, Mary. I love to see that you're racking up those Jurassic collectibles there. The other one says, you need the green and white Aster from the EE sets for the streets. I have that. I know I have that. It's in storage. I just got to go over there one of these days and look for it. But I do have that. Yes. Alex received a pile of loot from Big Bad Toy Store. Transformers 86 Studio Series Ultra Magnus. Frazetta 112 scale Conan. G.I. Joe Classified Snake Eyes with Polar Bear and Jada Toy Shaggy and Creeper. Cool stuff. Time flies when you talk about what you love. Toys. Yes, it does, Charlie. Dodson says, my only new acquisitions from Saturday at the Swap Meet are an inbox Hammond Collection Gallimimus. Ooh, that's a rare one. And another bag of G.I. Joe weapons for $15. The galley costs $5. Inbox? Dang, that's really good. Somebody bought a Red Rex there too? Wow. JP3 Brachiosaurus, yeah. Matt got the TVC Spirits 3-pack, the Candy Cane Droid, and the McFarlane Max Shrek. I can't believe I left my Candy Cane Droid in the other room. Max Shrek. I missed that one. I hope I can get him. I've been going to Target. I haven't seen them there. Any of those McFarlane Batman Returns. Allison, this is the last of my pre-orders from Pulse arrived. Or land tomorrow. Stormies, 3 Stormies, 2 Bens, and a Darth Vader tie. My credit card needs a breather. Don't all of ours? Yeah. Absolutely. Mario says, Haunted Mansion is one of my favorites at Disneyland, but my wife is too scared to ride it. Really? Haunted Mansion? There's 2 things I have to do every time I go to Disneyland. I mean, I like to do as much as I can, but I go like once a month, but I don't like have to like ride every time. Like I'm fine. I'm just happy to be there. Just like sit around, try some of the new snacks that they always have. Walk around, just kind of take my time, go at my own pace. Cause usually I go alone, not always, but a lot of time I do. So I just kind of like to take, keep my own pace and just enjoy and savor and just be in the atmosphere. But 2 things that I always have to do. I got to ride Haunted Mansion, and I have to ride Snow White's. It used to be called Snow White's Scary Adventures, but I think now it's called Snow White's Enchanted Wish. Those are the 2 that I always have to do. Matt says, I got the TVC Spirit 3-pack, Candy Cane Droid, and Max Shrek. Okay, I think I already read that one. Sorry. I know that was a big haul for me. All payment plans paid off in the same time frame. You have storage outside your house. Tell me more. I mean, you can rent storage units. There's like facilities that have you rent like climate controlled. Like you have to take like the key. There's an alarm pad. You go in the building, and then there's a key to your unit, like that kind of thing. I heard that Max is hitting target. I haven't seen that for myself, but that's what I heard. Vibes overrides. Yeah, definitely, Mario. That's I like that. I'm gonna keep that. Vibes overrides. Nice. I think we're caught up. My friends, 2.5 hours just about. I feel it in here. I feel my voice. I feel it in my chest. Like I talk all day at work. So I mean, I'm just talking. I'm gonna have to rest my voice as much as I can. But you guys, this has been a lot of fun. I think we've had some engaging and interesting conversation around some of these topics. Some of these topics, of course, a little controversial, a little mysterious in terms of like things that we don't always see, like have the transparency into. But that's what we do. All we can really do is disseminate the information that we have and go from there, right? It's been a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for 2.5 hours on your Wednesday nights. Next week, Cantina Horror Hour. I'll fill you in with more details on Instagram, but stay tuned for that. We're going to do that again this year, and I hope it's going to be a spooky, good time. In the meantime, I hope you're enjoying spooky season and you're taking in all the fall vibes and the ghosts and the goblins and the witches and the vampires and all of it, right? It's all amazing. Be sure and check out Night Wolf if you haven't already. It's available anywhere you get your music. Perfect for spooky season. I want to thank Adam, our moderator, for keeping us safe tonight. I want to thank Dodgson, our soda fountain bartender, and all my Cantinians who show up every week, ready to hang out, ready to talk, ready to have a good time. You guys are the best. And if it weren't for you, I certainly would not be doing this every single week as we do. So thank you guys very, very much. All of you are great. And again, you make this show what it is. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for giving me this outlet to express myself as well and to communicate about this great passion that so many of us share and partake and celebrate in. Love you guys very much. I will see you guys very, very, very soon. And no matter where you're tuning in from out in the galaxy, thank you for watching Cantina Social Hour. If you need a stream to catch up on, I was on Last Figure Standing their stream on Busk's Bounties YouTube channel this past Saturday, and we talked about Last Figure Standing. The top 6 were revealed, so be sure you check that out. All I'm going to say is Clea all the way, maybe. We'll see what happens. We're in the top 6. Be sure to vote. Go to Bantha School, vote. Hit up Last Figure Standing on Instagram, vote, and have your voice heard for the top 6 because they're going to be unveiling those here pretty soon. Thank you guys. Be well, be safe. May the force be with you, and have a great rest of your week. Beautiful weekend. And again, just enjoy the holiday, the Halloween season, and we'll see you next week during Cantina Horror Hour. All right. We'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody. What? You guys are still here? What are you doing? You gotta go. It's late. Go to bed. Go hang out in your collection. Go chill. Go do something else. All right, I'm leaving for sure this time. No encore for me tonight. Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.